Well, hello YouTube. Um, so I've got all the parts that I need to put this machine together now, which is pretty much the plan in the next few days. I've got a USB 2.0 to a USB 3.0 adapter cable, which is quite nice. Going to whack that in there, and I'm going to use that. At this moment, I'm still sort of testing the components. I have done some pretty good tests on it. So far, I'm doing pretty well with it. Let me just switch over my screen here. Get in a minute. So, I've pretty much switched everything over to it. Case of installing the OS. I do apologise. Just coughing, bleh. So I pretty much got everything fixed up on this now. I mean, I know all these components work that I've got in here. Only thing I might do is I think I've updated the BIOS on this. I don't know whether I actually have. That's a good question. Oh god, BIOS info. Check BIOS information. Last 403. I think I. No. What I might actually have to do, switch back to my main computer, use one of my thumb drives, and get the information off it anyway, so that's not a big issue. I don't actually see that, but yeah, pretty much the premise. So what I'm going to do is update, or I might actually go through it with you guys. The update procedure pretty much for updating a BIOS on the system. If I can get my tripod for my camera, my little tripod, put it on here. There we go. It's actually where we want it to be. There we go. Straighten that up a bit. There we go. Alright, so what I need to do ultimately is attach my camera to said tripod. Little focus, please. So what I need to actually do is the update procedure, which I don't know whether you can actually see that very clearly. God damn manual focus. Is it on manual focus or autofocus? It's on it's on autofocus. It wasn't on autofocus, that was the problem. Alright. So that's pretty much that. In the sense of stuff that you would do, okay, so I get the motherboard model number from the website. Head over to the ASUS website, asus.com.au, get the actual model number off the board itself, which is a P5GC MX. P5GC MX, which is the model number we're after specifically. So once we're on the actual website, head over to I believe it's, let's search it anyway. I should be able to search it up. It's PC. See what it is. P5GC MX. P5GC /MX. Actually, that's not what I wanted. Very close, but not quite the cigar I wanted out of the situation. P5GC. Let's try that, shall we? Search. And does it come up? No. What the hell? Shit, really? P5GC. P5GC. There we go. MX. That's the one. There we go. Okay, so once you've actually got the model number you're specifically after. Oh my god, fuck. There you go, search. Once you've actually gone through the searching process, it'll come up with the actual hard drive. So, it would be this one. You can actually see that there, but it's the bottom one anyway. If I can get into it. Fucking work. Come on, hello. My internet's being a little slow today, so unfortunately that's just the side effect of my internet being a bit crappy some days, and other days it's just wonderful. Depends on the day of the week, I guess. What mood it's in. Okay, so let's see. So you want support, then you go to the support section over the side there. I mean, you can probably can't see where I'm actually going, but once you've gone to the support section, set that up a bit more. So once you've actually gone to that section, load up the drivers section, then go to drivers and tools. Once you go to the drivers section, the tools section, see that you've actually got the latest BIOS, because apparently there's something to do with it. Come on. Windows 7, 64-bit BIOS, and then we want the latest BIOS, which is that one. Now I think I may have updated the BIOS, so inherently we'll just switch back to the other computer. Just see if I've actually got the right BIOS. Yes, I have. So that's the latest BIOS pretty much for that. So that's pretty much the BIOS update procedure. What you'd normally do is then you'd use this little update software on the actual computer itself, which is right here. This gives you BIOS information. You can also download the BIOS from online basically. I've got the latest, that's the latest version for this specifically, so yeah, it shouldn't be a big issue. That's fine. I now have the latest BIOS, which is good. But especially with a lot of older equipment, especially if it doesn't take a processor that you're putting into it specifically at the time, there could be the fact that the reason it's not taking that processor up is because it's basically needs to be updated pretty much. So best thing you can do in that case is download it. So what you want to do is you want to download the files. Once you've downloaded the BIOS files, then you can pretty much transfer them onto a thumb drive like this. Just whack it on the thumb drive, whichever thumb drive, and it'll come up in your system anyway. This is my one, which is my work one. It's got a combination of different files and stuff on it. So you transfer over there. Then from there, pretty much, I think that's pretty well. No, it's pretty much. I would say that's pretty much it in the sense of stuff you can do with it. I would recommend, this is my workbench machine, which is pretty much designed to keep all the driver files and things like that on it and stuff of that nature. So. There we go, that's a bit better. Right, so pretty much I would go with the premise of making sure that you get all the driver files off there. I mean, you need specific driver files for it. But, I mean, in the sense of me starting to build, I always like to update the BIOS first. Be the first sort of system to go through it, basically. I mean, I've basically done a BIOS update, everything seems to be working on this now, so, you know, pretty much a case of me just mucking around with Windows. At this point I've just installed basic install just to test everything's working and everything, make sure everything's functioning correctly. basic user profile, nothing fancy. And pretty much at this point I've been doing hardware testing, which is the main thing that I've sort of been trying to do of late. I haven't checked temperatures, but that's something I might actually do. I might actually go back. Might actually go back here and grab, I think I have a copy of it in here. So you go over to downloads. Once you go over to downloads, I should have a copy of it here somewhere. Hardware monitor, HW. There we go. So what we want to do is I want to put a copy of that on my thumb drive, 1 to the 1. So what you want to do is dump a copy of that on there. Doesn't have to be the latest version of it, it just has to be a basic version so I can gauge the temperatures on the system pretty much. So now I've got a copy of that there. I remove the thumb drive. Go back. Oh shit, there we go. Go back, plug it into the board that I'm working on. Once I've plugged it into the board that I'm working on, it should open automatically in most cases, especially if you've got an OS on there. Okay, so we'll open, run. Yes, I want to do that, I want to install that. There's no real advertisement things that come onto the computer with this particular program, so it's not a major issue. So once you've got that open, that'll tell you your temperatures, which temperatures I'm looking at the moment, it says 30 degrees for the processor, 39 for the system, 1926, 86 GT, which is running 38 degrees, which isn't too bad. The clock speeds aren't too bad on it either. Everything seems okay. RPMs on the fan are good. Voltages seem pretty stable. But saying that, that's not the power supply I'll probably be using. I'll probably be using something different. The power supply that I'm testing this on at the moment is just a basic power supply that, you know, you use to boot up a system and test motherboard components anyway. It's only a 400 watt power supply anyway, so I've got that. As you can see, 39, 19, 26. What was it? Intel Core 2 Duo. E8400s, 29 degrees, 31 degrees, pretty much. It's a combination of that stuff, so pretty much all the combined temperatures in that combinance of that, so that's cool. Got pretty much what I want out of the situation, and that will work for what I need to work it for. So at this point in time, I'm pretty happy with the end result that I got out of this. I wish I could have this camera further back, but probably have to put on some type of stand to actually get. Pretty much when it comes to this type of stuff, so back it up a bit. When it comes to a lot of this stuff, especially when you're testing, benchmarking, things of that nature. Now, I've got, I had running on this before, I had a benchmarking tool right here. Well, not benchmarking tool, it's pretty much a stability tool. Testing the stability of my system. So we go, yes. Once that runs, loads up, and from there, system stability. Yes, then you pretty much start all your testing. So what this pretty much tests is your CPU, system memory, local disks, everything else. Checks your fans, your voltages, basically everything that's coming into the system, pretty much. Then over here you've got, you know, no battery. Well, it tells you whether you've got a battery in the system or not. It tells you the temperatures as well, off to the side here, statistics, because you data of temperatures. temperatures at a given time frame or period of time. It'll tell you the temperature of your hard drive and such. So there's, I think they call it changed names a while ago because I'm using an older tool now because I've had this tool for a long time. They changed the name from it's AIDA64, I believe. Now they changed it to AIDA64, which is pretty much the same tool. They just used to call it Everest. These days it's just changed names pretty much in comparison to what it used to be. So you know, these days it's got a different name, and it basically does the same thing. It does stress GPU and everything else. It stresses a lot more these days. There's a lot more extensive tests you can do with the stability test on it, basically to make sure the system's running correctly. I don't have any benchmarking programs on this computer, but I will run a few games and I'll test a few basic things just to make sure everything's working. I mean, this machine isn't going to be the bees, knees of everything. It's not going to be the machine you're going to be ultimately running games and like really heavy games on and stuff. It's going to be a basic machine. Oops. And you go down here and you go up here, as you can see. Current, as you can see. Current RAM, 2 gigabytes. It's using an E84 Core 2 Duo, 3.0 gigahertz, which see, it's not a bad processor either. So, yeah. This is just, I mean, as I said, it's not meant to be the most fanciest computer. It's not meant to be the worst either. So, no other one unknown driver, which I think that's just something randomly the system needs to update anyway. It's because I haven't actually had any updates. I haven't done any updates for it at this point in time. So at this point, everything's working on it. I'm pretty happy with the end result of what's happening with it. And at this point, I'm just running tests in to see if everything's working. And then pretty much then from there on, since I've tested all the components except for the hard drives, which I've got over the side there that I'm going to test. I'm going to run those through some extensive tests as well, see whether they work properly. I'll probably end up testing those on my own rig, just to get a gist of where, you know, just general error tests and stress tests and stuff, just to see that those drives are working properly. So that's what I end up doing on my own rig. My room is a bit of a my room's a bit of a mess at the moment, so I'm sort of being able to lay this out. Camera anyway, that's fine. So for the moment, I'm going to leave it, and I'll probably run some tests on a test bench. See, another thing I want to do, or another thing that I want to add, is I'm going to get a hard drive bay to go in this area. Pretty much a hard drive bay will probably go there or down the bottom here. Down this area here, just next to the headphones. Which I'd pretty much end up putting a nice hard drive bay there, and I can put out IDE hard drives and older hard drives and things that I need to access for data. I can also format some of the drives I want to format specifically, and, you know, clean them out or just test them and things like that. So at the end of it, the best possible result I've got for that, there's one that I'm looking at the moment, but I have to actually wait until I have the money to actually buy it. It's a little hard drive dock which is going to sit here and pretty much be the you know, in case I need to get data off a client's computer, whether it be IDE or SATA or drives or whatever. It'll be a combination of SATA and IDE combined. So yeah, pretty much up to that point. And then anything newer, like I'll access on my computer. Oh yeah, mate. Oh. Bit heartburn at the moment, so. Wow. So, this is pretty much the entirety of it. I mean, that's pretty much the entirety of the tests I do. I want... God damn it. I got just the snot every... As I said, it's just fucking... I've got nasal congestion, you name it. Rather fucking frustrating when it happens, but... There we go. Right. Much fucking better. So at the end of it, I've got that, which is pretty much my testing bench. pretty much where everything's going to stand for my testing stuff. So yeah. So that's my testing bench for the moment. Right. So over to a laptop or computer which I actually have to work on. I've pretty much got to just get components for it, to be honest. Plug it in. There we go. Things back a bit, so I've got a little more room. There's a couple of things on here I could probably get rid of. Majorly nicked. Battery packet which can go. So, pretty much the plan with this. At this point I have got an operating system on it, but the problem is the drive isn't big enough to do what I need to do with it. Basically I've got a basic operating system on there which I think is Windows 7 at the moment. Like I said, it does work very well. It's a very basic computer. Which it's well, I mean, it's nothing fancy. It is a dual core Atom processor, 2 GB of RAM. It's a 32-bit operating system. Let's activate today, which is anyway, that's fun. So the problem that I'm sort of having at this point is I need to buy a drive. The drive on there is okay, don't get me wrong, but it's not the biggest drive in the world. It's got about 5 GB free. It's a 14.2 GB drive. It's about 16 GB, I think it's actually listed on the website. But I just, no, it's not big enough to be able to do stuff, so I need something at least 64 gig. At least then it's justifiable. And you can use it as a basic machine. So at this point in time, this one's sort of stuck in a rock hard place situation where I need to get the component for it pretty much. So I want to get everything for it. I'll probably end up selling it for about 120, most likely. It's got wireless and everything else built in. That there. So yeah, it's not too bad. It's not too bad, and I'm not complaining too much about it, so I'm pretty happy with the end result of that. So anyway, so pretty much everything I'm doing at this point in time is in flux, being done slowly but surely. I also did a little adjustments. I basically I had 2 of these lying around because I wasn't sure if they worked, but I figured out there was a couple of button presses you basically have to get them to work. This is Ethernet for power lines. So that's running directly back to my router. Then there's a router for the back of the house, which does all the internet for the back of the house, in case I need to cable anything in at the back of the house here, which is here. Well, pretty much my office slash, office area slash repair area pretty much. So that's pretty much where everything goes. So, as you can see, is cable testing. I've just been doing some general cable testing and stuff like that, which, shit, I'll probably end up taking that out of that. But I got a basic cable tester to make sure some of my cables were working properly. There's a little cable tester thing that... Well, as I said, I was talking about cable management anyway, but I've pretty much been testing my cable tester, which... Well, I've pretty much been using my cable tester to test all the pretty much Ethernet cables in the house type of thing, basically. So you got that, which you can see there, obviously, and then what else we got? Let me go over here, which we've got my cable tester. This is actually what it looks like when it's put into my bag. Now, aside from that, yes, I've done that. Now, as you saw from the network stuff, because I basically fixed up the network at the back of the house a little more to actually be a more suitable network replacement anyway. This is something that my sister actually ended up doing, which, oh, you can actually see, but the port is gunked up with, what do you call it? It's pretty much gunked up with blue tack on the inside of it. So, it's pretty much fucked. Unfortunately, that router, just one port on it's fucked. I don't know whether the entire router's actually fucked, but... Never know, it could be. Because I was having issues actually trying to get it to recognise things. So it could be screwed. But I have two Netcom modems which I got from pretty much replaced them at my sister's place. So that's okay now. She's got new modems and new routers and stuff, so she should be fine. What else? Pretty much, yeah, just trying to keep things into a certain percentage and order, as it were. My workstation or my workstation laptop, it's the thing that I use when I'm out and about. It's particularly the thing I use when I'm out and about. I can actually just try to put this up here, and that won't work. It's always frustrating when you need to get things on the right angle. So, hold on a second. Momentarily move everything out of the way. Momentarily move stuff that needs to move, cases and such. Just things that need to be moved, basically because there's just not enough room. Working with some of this stuff. There. Get rid of. That stuff. Just move the space. I need a little more space, to be honest. Alright. Let's move some of this stuff back where it was, or back further, so I have enough room to do everything I need to do. Cleaning the tripod up for a camera. So that's pretty much my workstation that I use portably when I'm doing things. This is my, yes, I classify it as my portable workstation because it's got a Core i5 in it, which, you know, it's nothing exponentially fancy, but basically it's 8 GB of RAM, Core i5 2.5 GHz, which it's not too bad. It keeps me going anyway for most of the stuff I'm doing in the portability sense and being able to do certain things. Aside from that, yeah, as I said, it's got 8 GB of RAM, so it keeps me going in that sense. I've been able to do multitasking and everything else. I keep photos and some video stuff on there, which I did have a video from previously, but to be honest, I didn't like it, so I just thought I'd go with something else. There we go. I also, you can use this to keep an eye on my stream, as my streaming as well, which is handy. Delete. Into my recycling bin. I think there's couple of videos and deleted files in there and crap that I don't need. So yeah, basically this has got, it's got a 750 gigabyte hard drive in there. Basically 293 of it's dedicated to the OS, and the other 380 is dedicated towards data that I may use, work-related stuff, work stuff in general, games, even a couple of games on there because I might want to play a couple of games here and there. Let's there we go. Sit flat. Oh. Weird. That's just the way it is. Okay. It's just being a pain in the arse. Okay. There we go. And as you can see, I've got my drive there, which I put all my data and everything else on. Combination of, so let's see what we got. So basically, I mean, this at this point, this drive, which I've got right here, I'm using this drive as a boot drive. It can be used to be able to boot Windows. So I've got a copy of Windows 7 on there, which I use for diagnosing when there's a serious problem with the OS on a particular computer that I'm trying to run. So, you know, specifically most of the time it's just the case it's easier to boot. A lot of modern laptops boot off a portable drive anyway, so it's not a big issue. It's pretty easy to do. I think I used USB to Win to USB or something, which was basically just putting Windows 7 on the USB drive. Which is, I know I'm bidding it off a 1.5 terabyte drive anyway, but I mean, it's got plenty of space. It's got plenty of space for all the other stuff, so it's got all my work files on there as well as the boot management files and other things of that nature. So, got that, and that. Then you've got, well, basic applications that I use, which is Word. I guess I've got a Word type of Word documents or invoices and other things of that nature. Then you got Paint.net, OpenOffice, TeamViewer in case I need to do some remote access for someone's computer. Malwarebytes, hardware monitor just to check my temperatures, which to be honest I had to blow my laptop out a few days ago. Basically I had to blow the entire blow the entire laptop out because I was having temperature issues, but now I'm having, my temperatures are a lot more stable now, and they're about, what was it, 43, it was about 66 or 57, sometimes higher, depending on the situation. So it was the temperatures would get pretty high, so I wasn't really happy with where it was. So I blew the dust out of it, basically took the back off the system, took some screws out, took some random stuff out like CD-ROM drive, I think. Yeah, I think I pulled the CD-ROM drive out. As well as the CD-ROM drive, I pulled a couple of the other bits and pieces out and just basically took some stuff out of the system that needed to be taken out and blew the system out. Because it was probably as I could tell, there's a fair bit of dust in the actual heatsink itself. Which, you know, it happened, so it does happen. Right, so that's that. Then another program I use, which is CC Cleaner, which needs to be updated on this computer anyway. But this is pretty much my portable workstation. This is everything I use, you know, to be able to do portable stuff, and when I'm on the go, or perhaps if I need to go to a client's place or whatever, or things of that nature. Sometimes, you know, I mean, it varies. Sometimes you get work, sometimes you get lots of work. I've got a little bit of work yesterday, which basically was the client wanted me to fix up an older laptop, which I ended up fixing up, reinstalled some of the software, did some stuff, but I mean, it is an older laptop, so, you know, it's not going to have the best performance, to be honest. So that's what I pretty much told him in that sense of things, is only so far you can stretch the performance before it pretty much buckles. What is that? So yeah, this is pretty much my portable workstation. It's ideally the one that I like to use when it comes to things. When I'm not in front of my main computer, this is the workstation that I like to use, if I can help it. So yeah. So not too bad regardless. But yeah, all of that pretty much to the same premise. I mean, at the end of it, most of this stuff, you know, some of it's easy, some of it's not. It depends on the situation, really. As you can see, I mean, I've got plenty of repair kits here. I've got this little kit here, which is basically my screwdriver, portable screwdriver set. Which, you know, it's got interchangeable heads, basically. This is always something good to have, regardless. I work on laptops with this. As well as that, I have a fair few toolkits. I have at least 3 different sets of toolkits for working on different types of laptops, and even starting to get into phones and other things of that nature at the moment, but haven't quite got there yet. I have to do a little more research. I think my sister wants me to fix my nephew's phone, so hopefully we should be good. Install. I'm also getting back into WoW a little more because I haven't played it for a while. So I was playing with a friend of mine, Boney, which is really cool. Michael, his name is. He's pretty cool. So share every win with NVIDIA Shadowplay. So, as you can see on there. But anyway, as I said, I haven't had a major issue with this laptop so far. I'm pretty good. It's got 2 GB of onboard video memory. iCore Core i5, and pretty much, yeah, a combination of that stuff. It's pretty much, it is in essence a portable workstation. It's designed to do that. So let's see if you actually look. It doesn't actually say it's a quad core, but no, iCore 5. So pretty much it's got 4 cores of the CPU, as you can tell. My RAM usage isn't too bad on this. I mean, 8 gigabytes for what I'm doing with the basic stuff is not too bad. I remember originally when I first got it, it was about 8 gigabytes. It was about 4 gigabytes of RAM, but I upped it to pretty much 8 after that, which is good so far. It seems to be working pretty well. So as you can see, sorry about the actual background light. Unfortunately, there's a bit of background light. But unfortunate side effects of having really sunny fucking open windows. I'll just close this a little bit just to difference. Yeah, that makes a little bit of a difference. You can actually see most of what I'm doing. I mean, not that you couldn't really see it before, but probably better just to have it a little bit more darker when I'm doing some of this stuff. Lighting conditions can always be the worst when you're trying to film something. So that's pretty much it. I mean, the rating that I get for the index rating for this is 7.0 for the processor, 7.5, yeah, 7.5 for the memory operations, 5.9 for the 5.9 for the Aero desktop, and 6.5 for gaming, which is not too bad. I've actually played a couple of games on this; they don't play too bad. Installing graphics driver, which is I'm installing the latest graphics driver because I haven't actually done an install for a graphics driver for a while. As you saw before, I have actually worked on my what do you call it? I have been working on that laptop, that little laptop over there. But this is basically my portable workstation, which does everything that I need to do. And I could probably even do some light video editing on it as well. I just don't have an editor on this machine to be able to do that if I wanted to do it. So at this point, it's sort of, you're stuck in a bit of limbo with that stuff, but it's not overly, well, I don't think it'd be overly hard to actually edit stuff on this. It seems like a relatively powerful machine, so I don't think I'd have a problem editing, going through with some of that stuff. But I mean, to be honest, at the end of it, my main machine is the main machine that I use for editing and such. So at the end of it, pretty much transferred all the data onto this, got everything fixed up. I feel better now. I also feel better for my safety concerns. I don't actually see, but I feel a bit better for my safety concerns because I've actually now got a fire extinguisher right there, as you can see, which is fantastic, by the way. In case of fire, in case of things of that nature, to be honest, it's the smartest thing you can do. And don't be an idiot, as I say to people, don't be an idiot. Be smart about your choices, especially when it comes to a lot of stuff, and particularly safety. OH&S is very popular. I'm just adjusting this a bit. But yeah, that install? Cannot install. Failed. Why the hell did it fail? Try again. Gotta be fucking kidding me. Fucking frustrating. Not much I can do about it though, unfortunately. No, I can do something about that. I've actually got to work out why it's not installing properly. Probably just need a actual clean install of the driver, to be honest. So I might end up actually downloading the driver from the NVIDIA website, most likely. Yes, I want to download. So yes. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you very much, YouTube. I hope you enjoyed my video, as per usual. Stay tuned to my channel. I've got more coming up, obviously. I've got a combination of stuff coming up, hopefully. Let's see, the things I'll probably have combined are going to be, yeah, well, I don't know, gaming mostly for the time being. The other thing I was going to say was, yes, subscribe to me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Twitch TV, all those things, basically all that stuff. So if you're interested in my videos, and like, subscribe, comment. If you've got any comments on my videos, please feel free to leave comments, and I'm always happy to listen to people and get feedback from people as well. Alright, thank you very much, and catch you. Bye.